Hi everyone, welcome to this channel. Today we are going to study mathematics subject. In that we are studying chapter from class 8, that is understanding quadrilaterals. Today's topic is kinds of quadrilaterals. In total we have 6 different kinds of quadrilaterals. We might have come across these kinds of quadrilaterals earlier as well, but today let us start with the detailed part of these quadrilaterals. So those 6 kinds of quadrilaterals are trapezium, kite, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, square. Right now we will deal with these 3 quadrilaterals, that is trapezium, kite and parallelogram. We will see the definitions of those and one example figure of them. Then we'll go for the properties, and based on these properties we will solve the exercise. Clear? Now quickly let us see what is a trapezium. Starting with trapezium. Trapezium is a quadrilateral which has only one pair of parallel sides. We all know that in quadrilateral there are total 4 sides, so total 2 pair of sides, right? 1 pair, 2 sides, so 2 pair, 4 sides. Clear? Now in trapezium there is a condition in which we will have only one pair of parallel sides. See the example figure given. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 sides, so it is a quadrilateral. Now what is specific in this, that this pair 1 and 2, this pair is parallel and other pair is not parallel, so this is a kind of trapezium. Clear? Moving on to the next one, that is kite. Kite is a quadrilateral having equally 2 distinct consecutive pair of sides of equal length. Now see, too many words in this. 2 distinct consecutive pairs. In short, there will be 2 pairs and they all will be of equal length, pairwise. Alright. So let us see from the example figure. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 different figures, sides, and you see 1 and 2. This is the first pair which is of equal length. And now let us see the second pair. This one is the second pair. So we have one pair of equal sides over here and another pair of equal sides over here. So this is nothing but kite, right? Next one is parallelogram. So this is the most common type of quadrilateral that we will be studying. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral whose opposite sides are parallel. Remember these two words, opposite sides and parallel. So let us see the figure in which we have a quadrilateral, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Quickly see that I have drawn one arrow over here and another one over here. This shows that this pair of sides are parallel. Another, let me draw lines over here. So these lines show that this pair of sides is also parallel. Clear? So this quadrilateral in which opposite sides are parallel is called a parallelogram. Clear? Now let us study parallelogram in little more detail. So let us start with the elements of parallelogram, right? Elements means what are the various parts of parallelogram. So we all know that we have 4 sides in this parallelogram as it is a quadrilateral. When we talk about sides, we will deal with how many opposite pair we can form, right, and how many adjacent pair we can form. Now let me tell you what are opposite and adjacent. Okay, opposites are one who are in front of each other, right? So if we say that AB, right now we have a parallelogram ABCD. This is how you represent a parallelogram, right? You draw this small box and then you start clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay, you can name parallelogram by any way starting from any point. Okay, so right now the simplest representation is ABCD. You can see A, B, C and D. Clear? So right now we have this parallelogram called ABCD, in which I have taken this AB side. Okay, now the side opposite to it is in front of this, so the side opposite will be DC or CD. Clear? Now if you take this one AD, so what will be in front of it? That will be the opposite one, so that will be BC. Clear? So if we talk about opposite pairs, so we can write opposite pairs like this: AB and side is a line segment, so AB and CD. Clear? AB and CD. Another pair will be AD and BC. Clear? So we have only two pair of opposite sides. Now let us see what are the adjacent pairs. So how do you identify? How can you find out adjacent pairs? So remember, those pairs in which one vertex or one vertex is common, they are called adjacent pair. So let us start with this one. AB, and then continue either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So AB and BC will be the first adjacent pair. AB and BC is the first adjacent pair. Clear? Now if you start from BC and go clockwise, so it will be BC and CD. So here we have another pair called of adjacent pairs, BC and CD. Same way we can write CD and AD, or DA, whatever you want, and also AD and AB. Clear? So these are the adjacent pair. As we have got two opposite pairs, here we have four adjacent pairs. Just for information, we need to understand about quadrilaterals. Now let us talk about angles. Okay, so let us talk about angles. Again, in angles as well, we will have opposite, let me write it full, opposite and adjacent. Okay, let us form pairs. Now let us start about angles. Okay, let us talk about angles. So we have four different angles: angle A, angle B, angle C and angle D in a parallelogram. Clear? So based on that, we can define what are opposite angles and what are adjacent angles. Okay, just like sides, we have seen opposite pair and adjacent pair, same in angles. So let us start with one angle, and that is angle A. So exactly opposite we have to see, and which angle it is showing? It is showing angle C. Clear? So angle A and angle C are opposite pairs, right? Now if you select B and look at the opposite, we will have angle D. So we can say that angle B and angle D are the opposite pairs. Clearly you can see they are on the opposite. Now let us talk about adjacent pairs. Okay, so adjacent, you just have to go clockwise or anti-clockwise step by step. If you start with A, the next will be angle B. If you start with B, it will be angle C. If you start with C clockwise, it will show angle D, and if you start with angle D, clockwise it will be A. Clear? So again, just like sides, we have two opposite pairs of angle and four adjacent pair of angles. Clear? We will see the properties, why we have understood in detail about sides and angles, because there are few properties related to these sides and angles. Clear? So let us quickly see what are the properties. Now very important, let us see the properties of a parallelogram. So in total we have four different properties of parallelogram which are very important, and these properties will make you able to solve the questions of exercise. Clear? So let us start with the first property. First property we have seen in the definitions only, opposite sides are parallel. So I am underlining the important line points. Opposite sides are parallel, right? You can see PQ is parallel to SR and PS is parallel to QR. If you want to denote, for example, if you want to denote, you can denote like this: PQ is parallel to SR. Clear? And PS is parallel to QR. Okay? Again, adding into it, opposite sides are also equal. You see, this is very important. The measures of opposite sides are equal. That means if PQ is 5 centimeter, then SR will also be 5 centimeter, right? The measures of opposite sides will always be equal. If suppose PS is 4 centimeter, then QR will also be 4 centimeter. That means again the measure of opposite sides are equal. That is why I am writing PS equals to QR. See, right now I haven't drawn the line segment symbol, right? If you only want to represent line segment, you can write like this. But if you want to write the measure, that measure of angle measure of side PQ is equal to measure of side SR, so you will represent without line segment on the top. Clear? So PQ equals to SR, PS equals to QR. That means opposite sides are equal. Moving on to the third important point, opposite angles. Right now opposite angles are also equal. So you see, here I have drawn four angles. If in case, as per this property, measure of angle P is equal to measure of angle R, because they are opposite. Clear? Same way, measure of angle Q equals to measure of angle S according to this property. So if in case, let us assume that this is 48 degree, that means the opposite angle R will also be 48 degree. Clear? So this is the meaning of this third one, right? Moving on to the fourth one. The fourth property says that adjacent angles. Now no opposite elements, only adjacent. Adjacent angles are supplementary. Very important word, right? Adjacent angles are supplementary, means the total sum of those angles will be equal to 180 degree. So according to this property, we can write angle P plus angle Q equals to 180. Likewise, we have four other pairs, right? Four pairs in total. So you can write for any pair. Like you want to write for S and R, you can write angle S plus angle R equals to 180. Okay. Why this is very important? Because in case if measure of any one angle will be given, then you can subtract it from 180 degree to find the other angle. Clear? That is why I have written Okay, that is why I have written that if measure of one angle is given, subtract it from 180 to find other angle using this property. Clear? So these were the 4 important properties of parallelogram. Now let us start with exercise 3.3. We will be solving each question step by step. Here we have question number 1, in which it is given that parallelogram ABCD is there. You can see ABCD. Complete each statement. So it is just like an objective question in which we have to use some of the properties that we have seen or that we know, and then we have to complete the blanks. Okay, so we will try to complete the blanks, and I will also be writing the property which is responsible just now what we have seen. We will try to give the hint based on which you will write the answer. So let us start. AD, and here line segment is not drawn, so measure of AD, here it is, you see AD. Okay, so measure of AD will be equal to its opposite side, both will be same. So here you will be writing BC. What is the property? Opposite sides are equal in a parallelogram. Clear? Very easy. Now let us see about angle. You see angles DCB. So angle DCB, here we have this angle. Okay, now this angle is equal to the opposite one, right? And the opposite one is over here. We can name it as angle A, or we can name it as DAB or BAD. Clear? So let us start with D, and then let us name this angle as DAB. Okay, DAB. Why? Because in a parallelogram, opposite angles are also equal. Clear? Now moving on to the next one. Very important, please take care. I am drawing a star over here because this is one of the property we might not have seen, but it is there in parallelogram. Okay, so that is OC. Now you see carefully, OC is a part of diagonal. It is the half part of diagonal AC. Okay, so if we are talking about the half portion, what about the other half? Yes, the other half is also same. Clear? That is why I am drawing this symbol. So OC is the half portion, so other half portion is OA. Now this is according to the fact that diagonals bisect each other. Clear? Now understand this thing. Diagonals bisect each other means that diagonal, once they intersect, they form equal parts. Clear? So if this is, let us assume that 4 centimeter, this is also 4 centimeter. Clear? If this is 5 centimeter, this part will also be 5 centimeter. So diagonals bisect. This is an important property which will come in the exercise. Okay, so be clear with this. Diagonals bisect. Moving on to the last portion, that is measure of angle DAB. That means now I am removing these diagonals, okay, so that we can have a clear answer of this last one. What is given in the next portion is angle DAB. That means angle A. Angle DAB. And CDA, that means this angle CDA. Now what is the relation between these two angles? These two angles are adjacent angles. Clear? So these two are adjacent angle, and we know that adjacent angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. That means their sum is 180 degrees. So here we will write 180 degrees. So this is all about question number 1. So that's all for today's session. I hope you have properly understood these concepts. We have started exercise 3.3 till today. We have done question number 1. So in the next video you can expect another questions. This exercise is a big one. So very slowly, step by step, we will solve. So you only have to take care that you have to write it perfectly in your geometry notebook. Okay, that's all for today. Bye.